Hey guys, we are back with some more Edmonton Oilers franchise mode, and in the last one we got kicked out of the playoffs in round number 2 by the Vancouver Canucks. And I think for the most part going into this offseason, I want to keep this roster together. Now the main reason for that is because we got extremely unlucky. The injury to Connor McDavid, the injury to Tyson Barrie, there's not a lot of teams that can come back from that. So I think if we come back with the same roster next year, as much as possible anyway, at least in terms of who we can keep financially, I would love to keep everyone that's currently on this team besides maybe a couple of guys. So as we look at the stats here, Elias Anderson was our leading point scorer in the playoffs. 10 points in 11 games, not too shabby, especially with no Connor McDavid. He did very well. Marner with 9, Nuge with 9, Draisaitl with 7, Puljujarvi, Gino, and VZ with 6, Dzingel, Tierney, Meyer with 5, Wisniewski with 4, Yamamoto with 3, Nurse and Merkley with 3 as well, Byron with 2, 1 for Larson, 1 for Klefbom, and of course McDavid and Barrie were injured for the entire playoffs, Santini with nothing. And as we look at goaltenders, Malcolm Subban, 927 save percentage, pretty good. But with that being said, Subban's contract is up this year. And he wants a little bit of a raise because when we gave his contract, his current contract to him, he was a lesser overall. He only wanted, I believe it was $2.5 million per year. Now he wants, I'm going to guess somewhere around 4 or 5 mil, given that he's an 85 overall. So I'm not going to give him a multi-year contract, that's for sure. Should we re-sign him, it'll be a 1-year deal. And the reason I'm giving him a 1-year deal is because I'm not sure if the 85 that he has is part of the statistical growth that he got when he first joined us. And as well, the other reason why I'm only giving him a 1-year contract is because of our goaltender prospect that is up and coming very soon and should be in the NHL next year as a backup is Weston Barron. 20 years of age, 78 overall, medium elite. He had a solid season in the AHL. The AHL team just couldn't help him with that .915 save percentage. He didn't really get any support goal scoring wise. He's a very good goaltender at the AHL level. We'll see what he does in the NHL. And presuming he has some pretty quick growth, Subban would be the one that gets kicked out of the starting role, obviously. But for right now, we do want him back. So I'll give him an extension for 1 year. And we'll try to go we'll try to go as low as we can. I'm going to start out at 4.6 for 1 year for Subban. So we'll offer that to him. Bishop not re-signing, that's fine. Skinner, 1.4 is what he's currently making. He wants 2 mil. I'll hold off on Skinner until the re-sign stage itself. Defensemen, we have no defensemen with contracts coming up in the NHL. And forwards, we have Dzingel who's coming up. He should want a lesser contract than what he was asking for in free agency when we gave it to him because he was obviously younger then and he had a better overall. So he now only wants 2 mil, but he doesn't want to re-sign with us. So if we could get Dzingel for 2.5, I would definitely do that for Dzingel for 1 year. Because even though his scoring has dropped off, he's still a solid third or fourth line checking player. He gets a good amount of hits. His takeaway to giveaway ratio is pretty solid as well, 44 to 29. And he had 17 blocks last year as well as a forward. Now, and that was in pretty limited ice time as well. 10-27 it was last year. So if we could keep him on board, that'd be great. But I'm not going to do it for anything more than 2.75, I would say. He's not worth more than that. Now, Nikita Wisniewski, coming off his ELC this year. He doesn't want to extend right now, but if we were to extend him right now, he wants 2.5. So that's another reason we have to save as much money as possible here because we have some of these rookies coming up. And now Gino doesn't want to re-sign. I could get him back at 1 mil, maybe. But then again, I do want to save as much money as possible. And then, of course, VZ is going to want to raise because we retained some of his salary from the Rangers. And Yamamoto, I think Yamamoto's on his way out. Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not giving a replacement player this kind of money. He doesn't fit in with our team anymore. Maybe year number 1 and 2 he did. but not anymore. Especially not with Nikita Wisniewski down in here, and it looks like he's on a better development track than Yamamoto was. So those are the plans for the offseason. Try to keep, for the most part, the same roster together, and we'll try it again next year this time with hopefully a healthy Connor McDavid and Tyson Barrie. So Dzingel rejected our extension offer, so we'll keep that in mind for the re-sign stage. But the good news is that Malcolm Subban has extended for one more year. So next year, our tandem as Subban and Barron. And the Stanley Cup champions are the Detroit Red Wings, and the Calder Cup goes to the Charlotte Checkers. And the draft lottery, San Jose has won, Chicago gets second, LA gets third, and retirements. Let's see if there's any players from our team that have retired. Ryan Getzlaf, Phil Kessel, Eric Stahl, Claude Giroux, TJ Oshie, Shea Weber, Kyle Okposo, Nick Foligno, Milan Lucic. So Lucic, former Edmonton Oiler, retires. Radulov, Edler, Vlasic, Grabner, Ennis, Petrie, Byron, Strawman, Soderberg, Martinez, Smith, Komarov, Saboka, Sevier, Alsner, Gunnarsson, Ryan, and goaltenders. We have a lot here. Quick, Elliott, Talbot, Hutton, Hudobin, Hutchinson, Condon. So going into the draft now, let's go to our pick, and we are picking currently at number 26. Now, there is a medium franchise goaltender available, because when is there not? So we definitely want to pick him up, I would say, with our second round pick. There's also a medium elite winger, Matty Nittymaki. He was a gem going 146, so we definitely want to make sure we pick up those two. But let's take a look at some of the guys who are going sooner. So there's Saprikin, there's Hemingway, and every guy who I have pinned has at least one A in their grades, meaning I would guess they're at least in the 60s. So there's also Dalton Wild, this low elite, who I think we might actually go for, considering he has multiple A's. A for shooting, A for puck skills, A- for senses, A- for defense, and he's a center, he's a gem, so he might be in his 70s, maybe even like high 70s potentially. So I think Wild might be the pick there, because there's no one else other than maybe Lepisto who I'm interested in, and yeah, I don't think there's anybody, at least that's going this late, with as good of grades as Dalton Wild does. And as we take a look at Burns again, yeah, he's a winger, and he doesn't even really compare. Yeah, I think the pick has got to be Wild here. Dalton Wild, welcome to the, I was about to say Wolfsburg Wolves, but Edmonton Oilers, and he's a 75 overall. Yeah, very good pick there. If he can grow into something, maybe a second line forward, that'd be great. I mean, he looks like, given that he's already a 75, we could see some tremendous growth out of him. So going into the second round, we actually have two picks back to back here. So we might end up taking the franchise goaltender here. But we'll take a look at our other options that are going before him. Kai Berg with an A there in shooting. Kelly Backstrom with an A as well in shooting. I would take Backstrom over Berg, given that he has better puck skills. I believe he also has better physicality. Yes, indeed. We could also take Tony Odell. He might be a medium elite. He's got that A for shooting. 6'2 winger. He may not be a medium elite, but he may be a medium elite. And whenever we've taken this chance in the past, it's worked out for us. So we're going to take that same chance here. We're going to take Tony Odell, the potential medium elite sniper. Welcome to Edmonton. And he is a 63 overall. And just to make sure that we get this medium franchise goaltender, we are going to be taking him now with this pick. Brian Connolly, welcome to the Edmonton Oilers. Now, of course, we obviously have Weston Barron, but never too, you can't ever be too thin in goal. Going into round number 3, pick 88. Yeah, I'm glad we took the goaltender with that previous pick. I would be nervous about him not being available at this point. Actually, he would probably already have been taken at this point, considering he was ranked 84. Yeah, I'm glad we took him with our previous pick. And now it looks like we'll be taking Nittymaki if there is nobody better that's going around this point in the draft. There's another Zanetti here. We have, of course, have a Zanetti in our Wolfsburg GM mode. And I don't believe there are any guys who we have pinned up until, Nitty Mackey. So we'll just take Matty Nitty Mackey here with our 3rd round pick. Welcome to Edmonton, Nitty Mackey, 52 overall sniper. That is fine. So getting into the 4th round here, there's nobody else who I really have my eye on. And we don't even have anybody pinned at this point. So we'll just go by potential here, and we'll take the best potential, obviously. So there's another potential medium elite goaltender here in Tucker Crawford, who we might end up taking, especially if there's nobody else better. There's several low elites, though, in Eric Zinger, offensive defenseman. There's a playmaker in Ivan Popov, and there's another playmaker in Frank Kreutzer. He's a gem as well. I mean, all these guys are gems. And then there's some medium top 6 forwards. Day, Waters, Simmons. I think I would take, out of these 4, I would take Waters first. And then out of these guys, I think I would take Popov. But you know what? I'm going to take a chance with Crawford here. Let's just go for it. Why not? Welcome to Edmonton, Tucker Crawford. Still in the 4th round, I believe. Just going to take the usual either low elite or medium top 6 forward. Or there might be a medium top 4 defenseman available. Actually, there's not at this point. So it's definitely between, I would say, Waters and Popov. And Waters is going before Popov, so we will take him. Another 4th round pick here. Let's take Popov now. With our 5th round pick, we're going to take Leonard Day. With our 6th round pick, we'll be taking Frank Kreutzer. And with our 7th round pick, it's either going to be Hirvonen or Zinger. I like that Hirvonen already has a B- for physicality. He's a grinder. We could use a grinder, so we'll take Marco Hirvonen. And there's the draft. So welcome to Edmonton. Wild, Odell, Connolly, Nitty Mackey, Crawford, Waters, Popov, Day, Kreutzer, and Hirvonen. Alright, so getting into UFAs now. We'll start out with defensemen, Forsling, Jones, and Morrow, the only somewhat NHL caliber players here, so we'll take a look here. Forsling wants a one-way. No, thank you. You can go to free agency. Jones, what do you want? You want a one-way? You can go to free agency as well. And Morrow, do you want a one-way as well? Yes, you do. We will send you to free agency. McPherson and McEachern, we will sign to entry-level contracts. Forwards, there's Dzingel, there's Gino, there's VZ, there's Cousins, there's Balsers, there is Cave and Rodin. We'll sign Rodin. What does Cave want? Does he want a 2-way deal? Yeah, he does. But here's the thing. The AHL team has been terrible. So I think it's time to move on from someone like Colby Cave. We can easily find replacements for the AHL, such as Rudolph Balsers. Hopefully he doesn't want a one-way deal. No, he does not. We'll definitely get him back. Now, Cousins does not want to stay. I'm not even going to bother trying to re-signing him. VZ, he wants 2 years, $2 million. Gino, he wants 2 years at 2.5 mil, and Dzingel wants 2 years at 3.3. I don't think I want to do that for Dzingel, and I don't think I want to do that for Gino either. I'm not entirely 100% sure about VZ either. So we'll go to RFAs here. Defensively, there's Sarnheimo and Bufflin, so we'll definitely offer both of them. Might think about trading him as well, considering he's already 22, medium elite, and he hasn't progressed much. Suglobov, get back on the team. Nurmi, I'd love to bring him back if we can. Yep, two-way deal, there you go. Yamamoto, I'm going to tender him. And Wisniewski will give you, 1.7 is good for him for 2 years, absolutely. And Stuart Skinner wants 2 years at $2 million. So we're going to see how much money we have left after all these guys sign. It should still be quite a bit, considering we didn't really sign many guys, only minor league guys and Wisniewski, essentially. There's Balsers, McPherson, Sarnheimo, Nurmi, Wisniewski, Bufflin, Suglobov, McEachern, Rodin. So RFAs, we still have Yamamoto and Skinner. And UFAs, we still have Dzingel, Gino, and VZ. We have 8.5 remaining. Now, which of these 5 is the most important to the team? Well, again, we're going to tender Yamamoto. We don't have to worry about him. So which of these 4, technically? We're going to have Weston Barron going into next season, so I don't think we need Stuart Skinner necessarily. We can tender him as well. And then when it comes to Dzingel, Gino, and VZ, VZ's the only one who actually wants to sign, but I do want Dzingel and Gino back if we could get them for cheaper. But that's the key. It's cheaper. And the thing is that Dzingel wants 3.3, Gino wants 2.5. So I think for right now, we're going to release Dzingel and Gino. We're going to see what else is in free agency, and we're going to see what they want in free agency. So thank you both for your services to this team. And as far as VZ goes, I want to try negotiating with him. I want to try to take him down to maybe 1.6 if we can. I think that's a good deal for him because he did have some pretty clutch playoff goals there. He actually had 6 points, I believe, in the 11 games that we played in the past playoffs. So offer contract to him, and we'll continue to negotiating with him for as long as we think it's a good deal. He rejected, I figured. So he's actually upset with the minutes at this dollar value. So I'm going to offer him another deal. It's going to be a bit more. It's going to be, I would say, 1.8. So I'm going to try to take him down again. If he rejects this, then we might have to consider releasing him to free agency. And rejected. So I think we'll release VZ. And we'll just see what's in free agency and who costs what. And then, of course, on the last day of the re-sign stage, we will tender Yamamoto and Skinner. So, VZ, we couldn't figure out a contract with you for right now, so we're going to release you. And Yamamoto has been tendered. Skinner has been tendered. So, I believe that is it. Let's make our way to July 1st. So, we're here in free agency. We need 3 forwards to replace Dzingel, Gino, and VZ, and to stay within the $8.5 million budget or cap space that we have right now. And I think I have just the 3 players to help us do that. So the first player that we're going to be going after is Lars Eller. 81 overall center, 35 years of age, veteran, of course a Stanley Cup champion with the Washington Capitals in 2018. Only wants 1.6 for 1 year. I figured he's a good veteran to bring on, brings that experience. He's cheap, and he's pretty good physically. He's good with takeaways to giveaways. Faceoffs could be improved, but we may not even have to use him at center, considering we have McDavid, Draisaitl, Anderson, Tierney, and then we're about to get another center in free agency, but we're going to give Lars Eller this deal here. We'll give him 1.75 for 1 year. And the next guy we're going to be going after is Henrik Borgstrom. 82 overall center, 26 years of age, and what I like about Borgstrom is his faceoffs. 51%. That's who I was talking about when I was talking about not having Eller at center. And his takeaway to giveaway ratio isn't bad, or at least it wasn't last year, 42 to 41. Years previous is questionable, but he is also physical. He blocked shots last year, 34. So I'm guessing he was on the penalty kill, and 21 points to go alongside of it. So we're going to get Borgstrom on board, because he's fairly cheap. He only wants $2.3 million as an 82 overall. That's a bargain. And there's already a few teams after him, so we're going to have to give him a little bit more than what he wants. We'll give him 2.75. I think that'll work. And the last forward that we will be getting to round out our forward group is none other than Tom Wilson. People love to hate him, but he might be exactly what we need. Because he had 34 points last year, 139 shots, and then the year before, 47 points. And he was getting quite a bit of ice time then. And even last year, when he only got 1436, again, still got those 34 points. But what I really like about Wilson is his defensive ability. 155 hits, and of course, that ever-important takeaway to giveaway ratio is great. 64 to 45 last year. The year before, 50 to 35, 62 to 50, and then 33 to 19, 41 to 37, all in the simulation. So, and then of course, he is also a Stanley Cup champion. And not only that, he's an 84 overall, and he only wants 3.8 as compared to someone else who's 84 overall, Pavel Buchnevich, who wants 5.1. So we're getting quite a bargain here for all these physical players, and that's what we really need in our bottom 6, I think. Because we already have skill players in our bottom 6 like Anderson and Wisniewski, and then you got Tierney as well on the fourth line. So we're going to be offering Tom Wilson here, and the Washington Capitals have offered him but we're going to be trying to get him as well. 4.3 for 2 years sounds good for him. So those are all the big offers that we're going to be making. Not anything, huge, but enough to satisfy our depth in a big way. So let's see if we get all three of those guys. There's Borgstrom, there's Eller, and there's Wilson. There you go. We got all three of them. Now let's see what our salary cap situation is. So we are currently at 2.33 remaining in salary cap. Pretty good. Better than I expected, especially after signing those three forwards. So now if we take a look at our forward core, it contains McDavid, Draisaitl, Marner, Puljujarvi, Meyer, Nuge, Wilson, Anderson, Borgstrom, Eller, Tierney, Wisniewski, and Bodwin as the AHL depth. And defense obviously did not change a bit. And then in goal, we have Barron and Subban. But what we do need to do here is trade the likes of Yamamoto and Stuart Skinner, presuming that Weston Barron is going to be our backup goaltender next year, which he should be based on the growth that he got this year. So we're going to be trading both of those guys, probably for most likely draft picks, because we can't really take on too much salary at this point. And if we do trade them for players, then it's going to be they're going to be very, very cheap players that we can just bring in if we get injuries for literally less than $1 million. So I did find a team that wants both Yamamoto and Skinner. That'd be the Columbus Blue Jackets. I couldn't find anyone on their roster that I would want in return as depth. So we just went with the picks, and then we got a prospect in there as well. I believe he's a low top four. Well, actually his potential we're not even sure on, but he's a 60 overall at 19 years of age, so I figured we'd take a chance on him, as well as the third and the fourth round pick. Now remember, Skinner and Yamamoto are both RFAs, so that kind of, at least for me, maybe not for the game, but at least for me, that lowers their value. So I would say this is a pretty fair trade, given that Yamamoto didn't play a whole lot last year, and then Skinner, he was the backup, so I think this makes sense. This is a realistic trade, proposed trade, and of course, if I didn't accept this offer of yours, Columbus Blue Jackets fans would call for my resignation. This is a no-brainer. Well, it's kind of a no-brainer for me too, because they were gone either way, and again, that kind of lowers their value. The fact that they're RFAs does lower their value quite a bit. So, just get them out of here, get some picks, get a prospect. Nothing wrong with that. So with that all being done, we do still need to sign some forward depth, and I think I found some perfect forward depth here in free agency. We have Mikkel Bakker, who only wants 1.1 as an 81 overall. Then you also have these guys, McCann, Olofsson, Hero, Skoldobin, all 80 overall, who only want around $1 million. So we're going to give Bakker a deal. Exactly what he wants. Offer contract. And I think we'll get McCann as well. I want to get a center in there. I mean, not that we have any shortage of centers, but nice to, I guess, have another one. Except I don't want to give him 2 years. I'll give him 1 year. I'll give him 1.1. Bakker rejected. And at least McCann accepted, so we did get McCann, but Bakker did not accept. He went to Toronto, so we're going to have to try to get another guy here. Goldobin. Get on the team, bud. Now, we do need one more goalie under contract, so I'm going to sign Ferkner for the AHL, because he is 20, so even if he is Canadian, which he's not, he's German, so we're going to, I guess regardless, he'd play in the AHL, but yeah, if he was Canadian, then he would be able to play in the AHL at this point, so we're offering him a contract. We'll probably offer Frazee as well at some point, but I just wanted to get 3 goalies under contract, so we didn't get that message about not having 3 goalies under contract. So that'll about do it for the offseason. Let's get straight to preseason for year number 7 now, I believe it is. And let's take a look at the roster for the start of year number 7. So goaltenders, we have Subban, and there it is. 81 overall, Weston Barron. Good call, bringing up to the NHL as the backup goaltender and trading Mr. Stuart Skinner. And look at that, Malcolm Subban back up to an 87. So good tandem right here. And defensively, Byram's now an 87. Very nice. Barry, 87. So maybe this year you have Byram and Barry on the top pair instead of Klefbom. And then Klefbom drops down to the second pair with Merkley. And then you got Nurse and Larson, Santini. Pretty solid defensive core that we have. And forward-wise, of course, McDavid, Puljujarvi, Draisaitl, Marner, Meyer, Nuge, Wilson, Anderson, Borgstrom, Tierney, Wisniewski. So Wisniewski stayed in 81. That's a bit unfortunate. but hopefully he has a good season alongside Anderson this year on the third line. And McCann and Eller are also here. And we'll end it off here, just showing you guys the 5-on-5 lines real quick. Nuge, McDavid, Marner, Meyer, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, top 6 is untouched from last year, but the big difference is in the bottom 6. Tom Wilson with Elias Anderson and Nikita Wisniewski, and then the fourth line, Tierney with Borgstrom and Eller. Now, the reason I got Borgstrom, Tierney wasn't doing great on faceoffs last year, only at 46%, so hopefully Borgstrom will be able to control the faceoffs a little bit more for the fourth line, given that the past 2 seasons he's at over 50%. And then defensively, Byram and Barry, Klefbom and Merkley, and then Nurse and Larson. So there you go. There are your 2024-25 Edmonton Oilers. And I'll see you guys in the next one when we start year number 7.